you in your community. So come on and listen to us and tune us in. Get on our Facebook, Instagram, and all. As we're doing it right here for you in your community with Rainier Avenue Radio World. And God is an inspiration of gospel music. Also, we're doing a lot of different things in your community. We give out free food. We give out a lot of things in the community. We do a lot of shows. We do a lot of things on the sports part, and we want you to come on out and tune us in and come to the community, and we do a lot of things in your community. So make sure you go to our website, Rainier Avenue Radio World, and also go to the God Is website and look us up and see what we do in your community, something maybe you might like. So come on by and check us out from 11 to 2. Free food giveaway.
All lovers, check out the Quiet Storm Dedication Show with Sergio LaCour on Love Lines. Thursdays, 9 p.m. Pacific on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
I love the music.
All of us have struggled through the COVID-19 pandemic, and many of our communities have been particularly hard hit. Some things definitely need to change, but a few things should stay the same, like protecting your child from serious diseases you can prevent now. Preventable diseases like measles, mumps, and whooping cough. Is camp, childcare, or in-person school on your family's agenda? Give your child a healthy and safe summer and school year by making sure they're up to date on vaccinations and well child visits. You have the power to protect. Call your healthcare provider to find out what vaccinations your child is due for and make an appointment today. If you need help finding a provider, visit parenthelp123.org or call the Help Me Grow Washington hotline at 1-800-322-2588. An interpretation is available.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue radio.world.
I love the sound of shattering glass. Hello there, world. Bettina, Carey here, and I am live on Rainier Avenue Radio, and we're here to shatter glass ceilings with an S, because glass ceilings are meant to be shattered, not just merely broken. And with me today, we're going to be talking about fear. Are you ready to fail your way to success, but lack the courage to take the next step? Our topic is unlocking fear. That's false evidence appearing real, and imposter syndrome. With me today is Jacqueline Wales. Jacqueline is a trusted advisor to smart, accomplished women who she supports to live up to their gifts, break through fears and limiting beliefs, explore their full potential, take the next leap, and live the life and career that they love. An astute observer of behavior, Jacqueline Wales is endlessly fascinated by the messiness of being human and finds people who are vulnerable and honest about their struggles incredibly interesting and courageous. As the author of When the Crow Sings, The Fearless Factor at Work, and soon to be published, Fearless Women Leading the Way, she has explored human behavior and asked tough questions to discover hard truths for more than 35 years. While observing and talking with thousands of people over several decades, she's come to understand that the challenges that we all confront are not much different than each other's, no matter who you are or what you're doing in life. Jacqueline is an author, singer, global nomad who has lived and traveled on 3 continents, earned a black belt in karate, and now enjoys CrossFit workouts in her garage. She's an active co-partner in a long-term marriage and mother to 4 children who have grown up to be amazing adults. Welcome to the stage here. It's great to have you, Jacqueline.
It's great to be here, Bettina, and that is quite a mouthful you gave yourself right there.
Yes, well written and hopefully well spoken. So, Jacqueline, you say that being fearless is not the absence of fear, but the courage to take the next step. And then you go on to add that being fearless is about the journey, never the destination. Tell us a little bit about your belief system about fear.
So I believe, we all have fears. It is an emotion, and it's frequently an emotion that keeps us stuck. And it's an emotion that truly gets in the way of our own growth and development. And I also talk about why fear matters to your success, because it's a driver. It can be a barricade, but the driver piece is that it's a signal to grow when fear shows up. It's generally something that we're making up in our heads. It's not a reality. And so we have to question that fear. And so for me, the fear piece is simply about understand the emotion, understand that it's a driver for growth, and use it. Use it. Most people run away from it, but I say use it because it's powerful.
Absolutely. And, whenever I am fearful, I tell myself, stop scaring yourself. Because I'm either thinking about the future not going right or the past not having gone right. And neither one of those really exists. Really, there's only the present moment. So share with us an example of someone who you might have helped through some fear challenges.
So, I work with a lot with accomplished women, and these are women who have reached a fairly high level in their careers, but they frequently struggle with self-doubt, with that imposter syndrome that you mentioned earlier. It's that fear of somehow I'm not measuring up. It's the fear of maybe I'm not capable. It's the fear of failure, which is a big one. So I've worked with clients who have had all of that going on. And so when I'm working with them, we're usually trying to unearth what are the stories you're telling yourself? Because you nailed it quite adequately by saying, your fears are based on what will happen in the future. We forget that this is our only reality. This moment right now is our only reality. And what happens in 5 minutes from now, what happened 5 minutes before, it's all gone unless it's stored in your memory banks. But when we tell ourselves negative stories, and let's face it, the majority of people go to negative thinking before they go to positive. We have to be trained into the positive, which is really a sad fact on life. But unfortunately, it's true. So your fears are story driven. And as a storyteller, I'm very clear about that with my clients. I actually will say to them, so what BS are you telling yourself today? Because it's the stories in your mind about who you think you are, how capable you think you are, and how you can create the future that you may want, but you're afraid of maybe if you get it, things will change. Fear of success. Fear of failure, fear of success, two sides of the same coin. So for a lot of these women that I work with, it really is about establishing the truth of who you are. Because I like to say fear, unless you have empirical evidence, is that false evidence appearing real. And it's false. And of course, for me in my life, I lived in that story a long time before I woke up to the fact that I could change that story. What an idea. That's what I do with my clients. I help them change their story.
Yes. And you're really speaking my language when it comes to this whole thing about shattering glass ceilings. Because if you're not scaring yourself in a sense every day, you're probably just coasting and big things are not going to happen for you. So the idea that we embrace fear as something of an opportunity, as opposed to something to avoid, and embrace the other side of this coin, which is courage, right? So tell us a little bit about how you've helped people to garner their courage in order to move forward and take those necessary next steps to succeed in something that they have wanted to.
And first of all, I'd like to just mention that the glass ceiling is in your head. It's not, people talk about how do I get through the glass ceiling? Well, think about what's going on in here, because there's your glass ceiling. Let's shatter that one.
Yes.
But how I would help them is with the courage piece is what small action can you take today that would be different from the actions you took yesterday? Now, it might simply be about asking for what you want. Let's take that as an example. How many people have trouble asking for what they want? Because they've already built a story that says, I won't get it. That, I will be seen as weak because I'm asking for something. I will be undermined in some way, which of course is, the BS again that you tell yourself. So the courage piece is, what's that small step you can take today? Is it about building a better alliance with someone? Can you start a relationship that you can build onto that would eventually give you more of what you're looking for? Zig Ziglar said it best. When you can give people what they want, they'll give you what you want. So that's another way of looking at, asking for what you want piece. How can I help you become that? But that courage piece is really about, look at when fear shows up, where do you go? Like, I have a question that I ask all my accomplished women. What is your fearless factor? And they'll look at me like, what do you mean by that? And I go, when fear shows up, where do you go? What do? Do you back away? Or do you find a way to take that next step, the courage to take that next step to be able to feel like you're moving forward? And of course, if we are somewhat accomplished, we've already done that over and over and over again. So if you're forgetting that about what you've done, take a look backwards and look at your accomplishments. And that's another thing I'll do with my clients is, let's look at your accomplishments. I have a story of a client who was offered a $10 million product development job, and she didn't know if she should take it or not.
Okay.
And the reason why, and she had many sleepless nights, is because she felt that she wasn't sure she was capable of pulling it off. And if she failed, it was going to ruin her career. That was a big one for her. So she got stuck in that moment of, what do I do? The deer in the headlights thing. Well, instead of going on to, what do you think you can do, blah, 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 I said, let's take a look at what you've achieved in your life so far, which was fairly considerable. And once she was able to analyze all of that and take ownership of it, and it's something I talk about a lot with my people, taking the ownership of all you are, of all you've accomplished, of everything that you are being in this world, and taking ownership of the other things that you want to be and do in this world. That's where the courage shows up.
Yes.
And you can see many examples when you look back and you go, well, you did this and you did that, and you did the next thing. I mean, I look at my own life, for instance, when I think about, I've written 3 books so far. I'm working on the 4th one. I started a coaching career when I was in my middle 50s, I guess. Yeah, somewhere in there, and it's like anything is possible. My mother used to say this, anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Yeah, but what state of mind are you carrying with yourself? That's really the big issue with this.
Absolutely. Yes, I always say, you only get in life what you have courage to ask for. Ask for more. And each and every day, I set out to ask for more, whether it's a phone call negotiating a price, or, somebody didn't treat you very well and you want to get a little bit of a dessert at a restaurant, whatever it is, always be asking for more. And, do you think with your work with these accomplished women that some of what we're talking about is a predisposition that women have, this imposter syndrome that we talk about, and the not feeling the courage to necessarily ask for more?
I think that's a big part of it. I think we're acculturated to be of service. We're caretakers in society. We are the ones who are basically there to serve others in many ways. And certain generations, we're actually, leading our way into that. So, there is a piece here that we need to change the acculturation, the gender specifics of what's going on. And I think the younger generation have a lot less of that than previously. But it's definitely a big piece to consider in terms of our acculturation and how we can change that up. So another piece that came up as you were speaking was the idea of deserving. I hear this with women all the time about deserving, and that's a big piece right there. I must apologize. My husband has opened my office door here, and the dog's barking.
Okay.
So
it was a whistling that was going on there.
Yeah. You never know. You work at home and stuff happens.
I know. All the time.
So the deserving piece is a big one to consider, because I think women have to know that they deserve to have more. They need to know that they deserve the promotions. They need to know that they deserve to have whatever it is they think they want to have. And a lot of the time, we don't go there. We don't go there.
Right. Yes. Well, I had the opportunity to go to your website, and you have a number of courses. So you help successful women, clearly, and folks in their career, transitioning your career for success, reignite your career for success. Influence is a game changer. These topics are really resonating with me, and I'm sure they're resonating with those that are listening here today and watching. So tell us a little bit about your courses that you have on your website, and hopefully Daniel can bring that up for us to see.
So I created a bunch of courses last year, and it's just one piece of what I do. But I ran a program called the Fearless Change Program, and it was for highly accomplished women. And so I created courses that I think were really important. So, for instance, the Inner Game, which I'm happy to share with your audience today, that's about how do you reframe your limiting beliefs. Because, you know, there is that story, as we started talking today, about what is the story you're telling yourself. So it's developing your self-awareness, because let's face it, number one in any kind of growth situation is, who am I? What am I all about? What do I believe in? Where am I'm not tapping into the full essence of who I am. So the Inner Game has been designed. It's online. You get to go listen to me talk. You get to take some quizzes, evaluations, some motivational, inspirational stuff. But at the end of the program that I'm offering here, you should have some sense of where you're getting in your own way. And that's true for all of us. We all know how to get in our own way very well. So that's the Inner Game. So the communication piece is another one. The communicating your needs, wants, and desires becomes a big one. Now, difficult conversations. How many people hate confrontation? So let's talk about how to have a better quality conversation. Very big, right there. So and resilience. How resilient are you? You want to find that out. Influence is a game changer on the programs. Is really all about how do you build strong allies? How do you build a power base that works for you? And what do you have currently going on and can expand upon that? So these are the areas that I went into with this program that I did, the Fearless Change Program. And now that's kind of evolved, and we've got a whole lot more programming. It's coming up in 2022 that I'm super excited about, because it's really the culmination of 10 years of work that we're bringing to light at this program.
That's fantastic. Now, go ahead and give a little bit more details about this offer that you have for us today.
So if people go to the website and go to the link that I've shared with you on the Inner Game, and you put in the code after you've added it to the cart, put in the code JW21, and you will get this for free. I want to help change as many people as possible. I'm on a mission to change the world, one person at a time. And so if you take this program, it's a start. It's that courage to take the next step. A lot of people will look at this and go, I don't know if I really want to do this. It's another program, blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, it is. But maybe this time the information will stick and you'll do something with it. That's kind of how I approach it. Yeah.
So for those that are listening instead of watching, can you spell out your website and the offer as well?
Yes. So my website is JacquelineWales.com. And of course, you'll get my name from the program here. And then it's /the-inner-game/.
There you go. So what are some thoughts that you might be running around in your head that we haven't talked about yet today?
You remember I said at the beginning that fear matters to our success. I want people to really let that one sink in. because most people think of it as the fear of success. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when your fears show up, what do you do with it? Do you use it as the prod? Sometimes it feels like a cattle prod, but it's a prod to tell you that there are things here you can change. There are things here for you to think about differently. There's things here that you can absolutely overcome if you do the work. And I say that emphatically because change doesn't happen in a vacuum. And you have to be damned uncomfortable to really do the deep necessary work to reinvent yourself. And I have reinvented myself many times in my lifetime. And I'm coming up on 7 decades. So I've had plenty of experience.
The cat with 9 lives has nothing on you, right?
But my husband said last Saturday at dinner with friends, they were talking about, you always seem to be doing something more. And he turned around and he went, she's the queen of reinvention. That's how to do it. Because you have to be fearless to reinvent. You have to be fearless to say, that's not working for me. Yeah. So look at what would work for you. And if you don't know the answer, go find a coach or go find somebody who's going to be your sounding board. I call myself a trusted advisor to all of my clients because I'm very happy to give advice, just like I'm doing right now. But the idea is you need a sounding board for the changes that you're going to make. Because we can't do this work on our own. You probably know this too, Bettina. You need somebody else who can help you. I mean, I know I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for some amazing people that I've worked with over the years who said, don't go that way, go this way.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm so excited that you're into your 4th book. They're all about fear, right? And so tell us a little bit about your books and the upcoming one in particular, because I'm sure you want to get some attention to that book.
So the first book was When the Crow Sings, and it's a semi-autobiographical novel where I tell the story of 3 generations of women giving birth to children outside of marriage until one woman has the courage to give her child up for adoption. And I tell the story of my grandmother, my mother, and myself. The story starts in 1914 and it ends in 1992, I think it is, in the book. So it's a fairly lengthy, almost historical novel, if you like, but it's all based on fact. The Fearless Factor was written originally to help women specifically understand how to develop their confidence, to develop their fearless factor, and really start living the life they wanted to live. And it was primarily aimed at midlife women. The last book, The Fearless Factor at Work, came about because I've worked with a lot of mid-level managers and directors who really needed to develop their self-awareness in order to develop empathy and communication skills and trust and so forth, as well as understanding how fear operates in their life. So I cover a wide variety of subject matter in The Fearless Factor at Work as a kind of virtual mentor's guide, if you like, to how to really build a successful career. There's every one of my books has a lot of questions at the end of every chapter. At least the Fearless books have a lot of questions in them, because the coaching practice is all about asking questions. And here's the other thing: you got to get curious about who you are. And I talk about curiosity in this book too. We as adults lose our curiosity. We tend to fall in line with whatever, but I'm all about, my generation, question authority. For me, the questions are really critical. Stay open, stay curious. And that's a big piece of it. The next book is coming out, the Fearless Women Leading the Way book, is really addressing the issues of successful women and the things that they've overcome. I ask 5 questions. The first one is, where has fear limited your opportunities? And I want people in listening to this right now to think about this. Where has fear limited your opportunities? The second question is, what is the greatest contributor to your success? Worth thinking about. And then the third question is, if you could wave a magic wand, what would have to happen in the workplace for you to leave a lasting legacy? And the fourth one is, what's your vision for the next 3 years? And the fifth one is, what is your fearless factor? So, these 5 questions, I've done 60 interviews so far with accomplished women. And the next book will be based on the findings of those 60 interviews and my thoughts around all of that. So we'll see what happens.
And woven into this entire conversation around fear is the emotional intelligence. And that is the at the core, at the basis of the work that I'm doing. And, the Shattering the Glass Ceiling has a lot to do with emotional intelligence. So give us about a minute's worth of final thoughts as we move on with your interview here today.
So the biggest fear that I hear over and over again is the fear of failure. So I just want to say a couple of words on that one. We are all failing our way to success. And you mentioned that at the opening of our talk today. And the way I look at failure is this: it's an opinion, it's an expectation or a decision, a choice that did not go the way you wanted it to. So there's only one word to apply to that, and it's next. Because if we dwell on the failures, then you're missing out the opportunities to succeed. And if you're not showing up for stuff because you're afraid of failure, then you'll never learn anything, frankly. I look at my life, and I'm sure you look at your life, Bettina.
Yeah.
There's a slew of mistakes. There's a slew of failures. But we got up and they had the courage to take the next step. So that's a big one right there. The other piece I would say is, when fear shows up, ask yourself, do you have empirical evidence? Is it true? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. You just told yourself a story. So these are the 2 things I would say big time focus on if you want to get out of the fear trap.
Yes, and we can tell really great stories to ourselves in our head, or we can tell really not so great stories. So it's all your choice, one way or the other. Thank you so much for joining us here, Jacqueline, today. It's been a great show and a great time having you. We'll have to have you come back too when your book is out. Next up is sports. Yeah, next up is Sports Untold, featuring an interview with RAR personality Ren Alt and Pepe Bean of Linline Sports. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. We'll have to have you back, like I said. And we love that everybody's watching. Please comment. I read all of your feedback, and join us each and every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Bye for now, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community. It's a membership. It's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.